This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are back with Selene Kepila, who is a global leader, really a world leader when it comes to holistic healthcare. And the name of the company here she works is called Ensele, and she has her own company based out of Calabasas, California. She sees people here also virtually, but she's helping you heal body, mind, soul. And there's so much that she does. It's kind of hard to introduce someone who has so many hats to wear. So let me have you please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and of course, the state-of-the-art facility that is helping so many people heal.
Thank you. Hi, Jill. Nice to see you. Thank you always for having me on your show. I appreciate it. This is so wonderful to be able to talk openly and have a better reach for people. My specialty is in holistic wellness, and I have a mission to help people be educated about having more options outside of medicine and surgery. And there's natural medicine and holistic is so powerful, and I always encourage people to try it before they opt for surgery or medication. And it's been a wonderful journey in my 25 plus years. I've traveled the world and often meet people who are other like-minded healers, scientists, researchers, doctors, you name it, and bringing back the best of the best technology. It's interesting that, as you think of a healer, you think of someone who's more hands-on, and I believe we all have those gifts, but I have a unique gift in that I like to find technology that can be introduced to one's wellness. And we really have some of the most advanced technology available. Not that it's new, but if everyone wants to look up and research Nikola Tesla or Dr. Royal Rife, these are wonderful technologies that were helping people heal back in the 1940s. So happy to share my knowledge and also awareness with those who are watching today.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I mean, you do so much to help people physically, mentally, emotionally. I know you kind of want to hone in on mental health today. So where do you want to start?
Well, I do feel that there is a growing concern or need for helping people who struggle mentally. This is nothing to be ashamed of. We live in a crazy world right now. There's, if we don't have enough already to stress about, there's tools that we can access to help us cope. And, a lot of addictions actually come from a pain that someone has where they are not able to cope. So, we try to cope the best we can when we have depression, when we have anxiety, when we have worries and fears, listening to the news, reading the newspaper. These are negative energies that are bombarding us. And so not only would my advice be is stop listening to the news and stop reading a newspaper. Anything newsworthy you will hear about. I've actually can say since I was 18 years old, I stopped watching the news and I stopped reading a newspaper because it's just so negative. But I always was informed when something was newsworthy and something was really something that I needed to know. Of course, I would hear about it. And I also raised my kids that way. I kept them, to just focus on the positive and focused on their little beautiful worlds. Our kids are also bombarded with enough negativity for them not to have to worry about a lot. And, our news today is, questionable,
Yeah.
not always do we find the truth on our typical news channels, and it's not their fault either because they have to report whatever they're told to be reporting about, however they want the narrative to go. But with that in mind, there even after COVID, there's a lot of people who suffer from mental illness.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who struggle with depression, anxiety, and a lot of people are on medications. More people are on medications than ever before. And a lot of times these medications are obviously causing side effects and having a reverse effect. Actually, they've done studies that more people commit suicide while they're on antidepressants and medication.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Something to be said about that.
Yeah.
And, giving tools to people, life tools where, if someone is depressed, there's a lot we can do to help combat that. And I actually am getting ready to launch a very special app on the phone. It should be released in the coming weeks, and it's called You Matter. With a You Matter, You Matter. And this app is for anyone who is struggling, and they can utilize it as a life tool 24/7. Literally, they can choose, do they want a coach? Do they want more of a therapist type person? Do they want more of a friend? And this is really for people for all ages. For example, there might be a kid who's bullied at school because he has acne, and he could get on to this app and, be able to find out, just talk, hey, I don't have any friends. Everyone makes fun of me. I'm bullied at school. Maybe this child can't, talk to his parents really about it. Maybe they're not really available. Maybe, he just has no one to talk to. So this is an app that's available for anyone of any age, for really any issue or any reason, to be able to have access to somebody 24 hours. I mean, a lot of times, kids are up late, and they need someone to talk to, and there's nobody there. And they don't know who to turn to. So we've created this app called You Matter, and it's really accustomed to what someone needs. If someone's needing a coach to lose weight, or, even if it's somebody who's older, like, the elderly, in their 70s or 80s, and they're lonely. And this is a way for them to engage, get online, and speak with someone. And if they want to actually speak with someone, like, I mean, instead of texting back and forth, then they can upgrade to a voice where someone is actually talking to them. And then they can even further upgrade to, if they wanted to have somebody who's a licensed therapist, and then, that sort of thing. So I think it's going to be a wonderful life tool for people to use as they struggle and try to find ways to manage their emotions. And, I was going to also share on today's call just some small but very powerful methods for people when they are feeling depressed, scared, anxiety, whatever it might be. And a lot of us, you know, we all had some sort of stress or trauma in our lives. And, I don't know about you, but I mean, I grew up in a very beautiful household with loving parents. But that's not the case for everybody, right? And so it's, we all, through our journey of life, will encounter certain things that are very traumatic. That's part of life. And it's not always taught how to best deal with these things. And a lot of people, like I said, turn to medication and things like that. But I think the most important thing is to remember that we are absolutely perfect. We are made from love, and we are love. We are pure love. And there's nothing imperfect about being that, embodying that. And we're all very special, and we're all connected. We are not separate from one another, as the media paints us, black against white, religions against each other, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, our gender now, my goodness, like, can we get more separated, more separation? And this is continuing to almost de-identify us. And if we can remember, our true nature of that we are love, and we all came from love, and we will return to that, and that we are all connected, that for as a human, we are all innately good. We don't necessarily I believe that we are innately good. I don't think we actually seek out to intentionally hurt people, but sometimes in our sloppy ways, we offend people, we hurt people in ways that maybe is not so intentional, because those things are maybe driven from a trauma. If a certain person has had a trauma in their childhood or with their parents, for example, maybe they were abused by their parents, so then now they bully, other little kids in school, and it's that's what that kid knows. It's a reaction to something that occurred to them. And so one of the things that I always like to tell people is, we have something called an inner child. I don't know if you've heard of that. Your little girl, your little boy, or
She's
your
still
inner.
here. Yes.
It's great. And so for everybody, it's a little bit different. I mean, for me, I grew up on a farm, and, we worked very hard. Yes, there were times when we went on vacation and played, but we worked very hard. And so I have to remind myself to allow my little girl spirit, or my inner child, to come out and play and have fun and laugh, because that is something that it wasn't an everyday thing for us as we were working on the farm. So
Wow.
when we are feeling whatever we're feeling, whether it's, anxiety or depression or loneliness or fear, you know, just, one of the life tools or little things that I like to share with somebody is just to put your hand on your heart and just envision yourself as you were, a little baby. And just the sweetest little baby, and just to talk to yourself, like, you're okay, you are so loved, and I love you. And
Ah,
just continue just to shower this little baby with love. And or if, let's say, the trauma was, when you were a 3-year-old, to imagine yourself as that 3-year-old, and just let her come up
mm.
arms and just hold this beautiful child, this beautiful 3-year-old, and just like, I love you. I love you. You are so loved. You're so loved. I love you so much. You are protected. You are so loved. You are so full of love. You are nothing but pure love. I love you. You're safe. Just reassuring. And if it takes 20 minutes to go through this
Oh,
exercise, then do it. This is so easy to do. You could be driving a car, and, one wheel, one hand on the wheel, unless you're driving a Tesla, you don't need it.
exactly.
But, to really take that opportunity to connect with your inner child. And there are good books out there that talk about our inner child. It's not something that I don't think a lot of people even know. Even myself, it's not really something that I've was grown up with and talked about. But it really, really does work. When you're in that fight or flight mode, you're in a fear mode, sad, or you feel rejected, just to really connect with your inner child, take that moment, place your hand over your heart, and just shower this beautiful soul, this beautiful spirit with so much love. And you would be really surprised how differently you feel after you do that. And not only that, here's the really amazing thing. You'll be amazed at how healing it is.
Yeah.
Every time you do that with yourself, uh, your emotional responses, your trauma responses
Mm-hmm.
will start to change and reduce and lessen. And you'll start to feel more safe and more loved. And, there's sometimes people, whether you're adopted or you're in an abusive relationship or whatever, sometimes you're looking outwardly for acknowledgement or appreciation, constantly wanting validation from others. And sometimes that's hard to get, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's awkward. But if you can you as an adult in your big body can validate and validate that for your inner child. And so I think it's just a wonderful, easy tool that you can carry around everywhere and anywhere with you. And when you're feeling this way, to try it. So.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And if you are just tuning in, want to remind you that we're here with our friend Selene, and she really is a global leader in holistic healing. And we're ecstatic she's here joining us. And you're live today. You from in California today? I could say live. I know you're from Calabasas, but are you anywhere around the world going on vacation soon?
Yes, yes, I'm going to go on a couple of vacations actually. I don't know if you have you heard of Burning Man?
No, what is that?
So Burning Man actually started in California and it's every year in Black Rock City. This will be my fourth time going, and it is where it's a desert bed and
Oh my
70,000
goodness.
people go with their campers or RVs, and they set up camp there. And 2 weeks prior, people go out and build these amazing structures. Like I'm talking as big as buildings in Las Vegas. You know, the Luxor that has that pyramid. So there's beautiful art structures that are installed in the desert. And if anyone's listening and they haven't, and they want to check out what is Burning Man, go to YouTube and type Burning Man Pachanga Boys. I think that is a great drone video. Pachanga Boys is a music artist, but if you love art and you love music, and then there's all these people that come out, and you have to be like radically self-reliant, and there's so much respect for the land. You dress up in these amazing costumes and outfits, and you decorate your bike however you want. So especially at night, it's all lit up, but it feels like an adult carnival or an adult playground, but it feels like you're on the moon, and it's so fun. And my child just comes out and plays and has so much fun. And everything is free. You're not allowed to sell anything. So everything is, someone might come and offer hair braiding or body painting or massage, or someone might be cooking gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches, and literally get this little catalog, and day or night 24/7 you can look up, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, it's 2 in the morning, oh, there's ramen being
Yeah.
served at this place, and you get on your little e-bike or whatever and you zip over there, and it's free, and alcohol's free, and it's just this 70,000 people full of love and human kindness. Everyone, no one's there honking at each other. I mean, like, can you imagine? There's no
Ah,
lights and bikes going this way, art cars going this way, people walking, people in costume. Everyone is just bringing their creative selves to
yeah.
share with people, and it's just what a blast. So I'm going on vacation at the end of this month to Burning Man, and if anyone hasn't known about it, if I was president, I would say you have to go at least one time in your life. I would make it mandatory.
Wow. Okay, I wrote it down. I'm gonna look more into that later. I never heard it. I love learning something. When you said Burning Man, I'm like, is that a city? Is that a town? Where's she going?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Wow.
And everybody is so respectful. So when everyone's done, after it goes from Sunday or Saturday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday, something like that. And when everyone is finished there, people go through literally walking the desert dust and making sure no feather, button, bead, trash, nothing is left behind. You would not even know we
Ah,
there. And they have a beautiful temple that they create so people can post, like put a picture of their loved one who they lost, and they can write on the temple wood, and then it all gets burned to the ground in the end. And it's just a powerful, beautiful experience that I think everyone should experience. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's a lot to prepare for, but it's really a good time.
amazing. Oh my good. Love learning something new. All right, what else did you want to discuss for today? I mean, there's so many different types of services that you provide and offer, and I wish we had more time. But I know we've had a few shows, and there's still a continued. You're doing groundbreaking, amazing healing. That's all I have to say. You told me some stories before. If you want to share some others today, what else did you have in mind? I just want to make sure we're covering everything, Celine.
Thank you. We have about what, 5 minutes left? I just want to.
No, we got 8 minutes left.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to say that. with the what I my kind of the mental illness, with going back to that, there's a lot of tools that are available, and I wanted to share a story with one of these ladies that she suffered from depression, and I don't know, tell me if I told you this story already, but she was in her mid 70s, so she's lived a greater part of her life, and she came to us. She had a perfect childhood, a great schooling, and she got into great schools, and she married the man of her dreams, and she had great kids and a good career. I mean, she just couldn't think of anything that would make her feel like she wanted to end her life, that
Yeah.
she was so depressed. And so she came to us, and she was here in her office, and we have something what we call brain optimization. And we also have something called brain spa. And what that basically is it's a way for the brain to see itself. So our brain can see, everything going on in our body. It can regulate our breathing. It can see whether our kidney function is working, or our sleep is on, or swallowing, blinking, all that stuff. Well, the brain has really no way to see itself. So if there's something traumatic that happened, the brain is a blueprint for everything that happened. So we have this method
Yeah.
that's non-invasive where we can mirror the brain back to itself. And so we did that with this lady, and she had about 7 sessions, and it was about the almost the session to the last one. She went to her she said, you know what? I had an epiphany. So she's like, my father is really, really old, like he was in his 90s. And so she went home and asked him, and she came back to my office the next day. And she said, you know what? Um, I asked my father if something
Wow.
happened to me as a young child, and he very nonchalantly like, "Oh yeah, you stopped breathing as a baby, and you were breastfeeding with your mother, and you stopped breathing, and when that happened, the doctors grabbed you and turned you upside down and spanked you on your
Hmm.
feet, and they ended up having to put you in like an incubator thing, and she was there for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, 2 months, I can't remember specifically, but she was, separated from her mother
Yeah.
after, with her mother suddenly. And so this child, this baby, um, carried these feelings of abandonment, of, this shock, this loss, this trauma, and with no words to it. There was just this feeling, right? This very sad feeling of being separated and not knowing, what happened, or what that was about. And so there was this trauma loop in this person's brain about this feeling, and it resided with her for her entire life and caused her feelings of, I don't want to live. I don't, like, why am I depressed? And so when that was kind of told to her, there was a lot of healing that went around that. And it was by knowing that she was able to, like, all of a sudden now overcome that fully and start her life brand new from, age 76, whatever age she was. And, she decided, oh, I'm going to start, my own clothing line, designer clothes,
Hmm.
whatever. But I mean, it's amazing what our brains have the ability to do. And, we have the technology, even if someone is listening to this and they're like, well, I'm not in California, I'm remote. No, we have brain devices that we can send people to
Yeah.
wear at home, and we can monitor and do it just like we were in person. So, there is hope out there, and no one should ever give up.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing that. It is beautiful. We still have a few more minutes left here, Selene. So, I mean, in the work you do, clearly you just a little about your background because people may not know how you even got into this healing world. Could you just share just a little bit of that for those new timers out there?
Of course, of course. I was very influenced by my aunt when I was 10 years old. She was she was frustrated with the medical community, and then not being able, the doctors not being able to figure out how to help her son who was dying of a thyroid disease. And so she stepped in and decided, you know what, I'm going to take things in my own hands. Herbs, essential oils. She got him better. And that was just that. And then my grandmother was dying of leukemia at age 73. My aunt, she got her to live till 90, in her 90s. before she died. So I was very influenced and by that and watching uh, that our bodies are designed to heal. Our bodies are miraculous, and given the right environment, we can heal from anything. And we don't live in a time now where we can just say, okay, I feel sick. I don't feel good. I'm going to go to the forest. I'll see you in a day or whatever. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to come back well. No, at home, we have stress. When we go to work, we have stress. When we're at work, we have stress.
Yeah.
We're being bombarded by stress, 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 stress. And, it doesn't give our bodies a chance to heal.
No.
And, it is wonderful if you can take on and learn yoga or breath work or meditation, quiet your mind, but it's hard. We try to get a moment of quietness. Our phones are ringing off the hook. We cannot stay away from these terrible,
I know. It's
and
horrible.
but it is really trying to create the environment so our bodies can heal. And that's the secret.
Beautiful. Well, we love this and the work you're doing. I'm glad you get to take a little break for your own mental health as well with this whole Burning Man and everything that you're doing, which is fantastic. But again, a lot of your clients just want to remind you, really, they have been able to avoid certain medications, have been able to avoid surgeries. I mean, this is pretty fantastic and remarkable. And those out there, we've talked about those with ADHD. My camera fell a little, sorry. With ADHD, with allergies, anxiety, Alzheimer's, there's so much that you can help people with. And I just hope they do get to reach out to you, even if it's fertility issues, right? There's so much
Absolutely.
that you can help with. And you are, you got to look her up. Tell us how we can contact you and where we can find you. She's the real deal. How do I say it?
Thank you so much. Our website is ensele.com, ensele.com. We also have another site that's called
Yep.
yourfrequencyhealing.com. The reason why we separated the two is Your Frequency Healing is
Mm-hmm.
focused on the remote healing
Got it.
and all about the remote, and it gives options, very affordable options actually. If
Good.
you happen to have a pain in your hip or a sore throat and you want to try it out, it's so affordable. To like the other lady, a lady called us from I don't remember where she's from, Alabama, I think. She was like, oh my gosh, my blood pressure is skyrocketing, should I go to the emergency room? I said, hey,
Do
go
it.
to
Do it.
frequencyhealing.com, pay for one session, and her blood pressure dropped back to normal
Wow.
within that session. So, try it. That's why I say to people, it doesn't hurt to try. And we can prove you, whether you're doubting it, just, proof is in the pudding, and it's not a placebo effect because we also can work on pets. So if
Yep.
those out there have a pet that is in pain or has cancer or whatever, oh boy, you'll be surprised how we can help them too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here, and we'll see you then soon. Enjoy that vacation and what
All
you're
right.
doing.
Thank you
Okay.
again. Have a
Thanks so
great
much,
day.
sweetheart. Bye bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.